We're recording now.
Why?
I know.
Why are we here?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
Great question.
I'm tired.
What day is it? It's the 8th of March now.
Saturday?
It is a Saturday of some kind.
I don't remember what day it is anymore.
Welcome back to the Old Souls Podcast, everybody.
Oh, yeah. That's a thing we're doing.
Oh, yeah. We're awake,
Yeah.
kind of.
It's another thing with the podcast and stuff.
Yeah, it is. Welcome to...
I told you it was going to be really giggly because we're both really tired.
Here we are. We just finished patching holes in a toolbox.
Craftsman quality,
quality.
craftsmanship.
Yeah. The welds on a Craftsman toolbox like to not.
Don't buy a Craftsman toolbox.
No.
There's a reason they're cheap.
Yes.
Cheaper than good ones anyway.
Yes. ProTech.
Like a
or-
ProTech.
Yeah, any of those. If you look at the welds on a Craftsman box versus a ProTech box, you'll see what we're talking about. That was a tough
Like
one to
yours?
weld. Yeah, if you look at the welds on the side, you'll see.
They actually look somewhat decent.
Yeah, and then you look at the welds on those. But I digress. If it's a toolbox, it's a toolbox.
Yours was probably what?
Well, when new, I'm sure that thing was expensive.
Yeah,
I
more
don't
than
know.
that. That was probably a couple
$1,000?
$100.
I think those things are like brand new, especially one because that's a custom series one. Whenever this was ordered, I think my dad ordered it. He ordered it because he liked to order them shallow so he could fit stuff under them. So
Yeah.
it's a super shallow. So if you look at the toolbox, this one, it's like
Yeah, I don't like that.
it's a
I
little
like this
bit.
one.
I like the one on my square body where it's like to the floor almost. I kind of like that because you can fit more stuff in it.
Only bad thing about that is you can't fit a transfer tank under it.
Nope. And that's why he optioned that one because it's a super stub, so you can get stuff in it and a tray in it, and then you can throw a transfer tank underneath, a big one. So either or.
Or you just get a transfer tank. You
That
get
goes-
a toolbox that goes all the way to the bed, basically,
Yeah.
and get a transfer tank that goes right behind it.
Mm-hmm. That's what like loggers do. Loggers do something like that. But yeah, that one probably was like $1,200, $1,200, which is ridiculous, but they're good, I guess.
It's lasted this long.
Yeah, that toolbox is old.
That one's only a couple years old,
Yeah, if that tells
and
you
it's
anything.
falling apart
If
already.
that tells you anything. Yeah,
It's literally, it hasn't even been opened that many times.
no.
It's just from vibrating, I guess. It's just coming apart.
The quality of the aluminum on that unit is something else. Welding it, don't do it. There's a Milwaukee pump on this table, and about 5 seconds ago, before we started the podcast, he let his intrusive thoughts
I
get
pushed
to
the
him.
button, and it turned on, and it spit oil all over the front of my truck. It was pretty cool.
It went, whoa, and then it shut off because he turned it off.
And I was like, oh,
It does work.
yeah.
Oops. But yeah.
We're both pretty tired, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can tell.
It's a long
At least
it's
with me, because it's
been a long
pretty
day.
obvious.
I'm pretty tired. We're both pretty tired. But yeah, we do these every 2 weeks. Every Saturday
At 7 p.m.
at 7 p.m.
Except for it's like 9.
It's 9
probably.
right now. But yeah.
That's because somebody took forever to weld up the toolbox. No, I'm just kidding. It's pretty hard to do TIG welding with the pedal when you're
With-
using your knee to
Yeah.
do the pedal.
I'm on my knees in the back of the truck with aluminum that came from the sewers of Mexico somewhere. I don't know. And
yeah, something like that.
I'm attempting to weld it, and it's tough. Some of it welded better than other spots. It just really depended on how clean that specific section of the metal was.
It's just garbage.
But yeah.
metal. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's kind of sucked. But we did patch 2 holes in the top of it
Yep.
and ground them down, so
Theoretically, it won't leak anymore.
theoretically there won't be any water intrusion. The worst thing you can have for your toolbox is water intrusion because it makes a disaster in there.
I'm aware.
That truck out there outside that you people can't see in this background picture had a toolbox in it that had 2 very large holes in it. It was nasty inside. It's
Nice.
horrible. So, yeah, glad to get that patched up. But, yeah, it's been a long 2 weeks. For sure.
Yeah.
What was that? Oh yeah. The cursed light?
It can't make up its mind whether it wants to be turned on or not.
The wiring in this, I don't know what's happening there. It, like, goes off.
It's fine. It'll probably burn down.
Oh, yeah. For sure. It's been doing that for years. It'll go out for like, sometimes it'll go out for an hour. Then you'll walk in there, into that section, open a drawer in the toolbox, and the light will come on. You're like, what?
It's possessed.
Or something. Possessed or... I don't know. Sometimes it feels like, is there a motion trigger on this light? What's going on here? Sometimes I'll just walk back there.
I thought they were motion triggered when I first came here.
Oh,
Are they
yeah.
supposed to come on with the rest of them?
Yeah, that one's supposed to come on with the rest of them.
Okay. Sure.
That light is supposed... You flip those switches on, and that guy's supposed to be on so you can actually see everything, because that's where solvent tank and everything is, so you can actually see what you're doing. And it'll just turn off when you're in the middle of something.
That's
And
convenient.
you'll just be like, well...
It's all right. It's not like I needed to see or anything.
Yeah, it's not like I needed to have visible light. Oh, it went off again. You might want to take the battery out of that before you
Just put that over there.
turn it. There, now you can't. You physically can't turn that pump on.
All right, I'm going to stop.
ADHD.
I'm tired.
ADHD. But yeah, I don't know. Last 2 weeks, what have we done? Well, we were working on that 790. That's for sure. We're working on that.
Yep.
It blew a hose 2 weeks ago. Well, no.
We still haven't turned the main relief down on that thing.
No.
We probably should do that.
To do relief testing, for those that don't know, on an excavator.
Anything.
Yeah, anything that has that style of pump and valve.
What is that one? It's closed center, but I don't know if it's load sensing or not.
I don't know about that one. The backhoes are.
What was the difference between pressure compensating and load sensing again?
There's load sensing, pressure compensating, and there's a different one.
There's just pressure compensating.
Yeah.
You said normally they're one or the other.
Yeah, because pressure compensating, load sensing, pressure compensating has sense lines that run to
The pump.
the pump and the components and stuff. And that's how they stroke the pump or something. And then just pressure compensating is like, I thought it was like a spool or a valve or relief or something like that just opened and closed or something like that. I don't know for sure. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Now that we just got done with the class this is our last week and we can't even tell. We took the test and then our brains just checked out.
Yeah, I know. Right after I took the test. Yeah, we did a...
How do you think you did on that?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know because he hasn't graded anything, so we wouldn't know how we did.
We wouldn't know how he hasn't graded anything.
The only things that are, I talked to my coworker about that.
Yeah.
And he laughed. He was just like, "That sounds about right."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's fantastic.
That's fantastic. But yeah, he
He's
hasn't
like,
graded
"Don't wait
anything.
till the last week to do all your homework," and then he waits till the last week to
grade
grade
everything.
everything.
Most instructors grade everything as they go. Don't want to say anything, but just saying.
Oh well.
But
Does this go down at all? No. Oh, that's gonna
is it all the way down? Oh no, that one.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
that one
go up
doesn't
and
have
down.
a cylinder at all. Well, I guess think of it. It's a safety thing, since the cylinder doesn't. There's not a cylinder underneath you.
Who cares?
That's true. Variable
Just wait for the
displacement
seat
pump.
to break and it just goes donk.
Yeah, I know. Versus pressure compensating.
I wonder if there's some
Load
mouse living
sensing
in
just
there.
adds the ability to sense the actual load demand.
The what?
Load sensing literally just adds the ability to sense the actual load demand on the machine. So
Which
pressure
strokes the pump.
compensating just a pressure compensating system would
Right, because pressure load sense. There's the two. I don't remember what they were called. The valves on the pump,
yeah.
where the one is whatever the work port pressure is plus, and then the
Different,
other one is like
right.
300 extra pounds.
Yeah, like differential pressure, because it's load sensing ports on valves go to the highest work port pressure, and
That goes to the pump,
That
and
goes
that's
to
what
the
strokes
pump.
the pump.
yes, and
Which is actually I think that would be better than having it controlled by electronics.
Yeah, it's just less to go wrong.
There's not as many computers. Well, there's not as much that the computer
That Case
controls.
9030 out there, which is the same as a Link Belt 2800, has very little computer interference. It has a.
Is it pressure or is it load sense?
It might be load sense. I need to look at it because I need to tear it apart.
It's from the 90s too, so it might be similar to that Deer somehow.
It's close. The only difference is there's no diagnostic plugs or anything like that. It's too
Convenient.
It's too unsophisticated for that. It's but nice thing about that is you don't have a PVC that can go bad or a PVC fuse that can blow or anything like that.
One of those 5 different fuses.
Yeah, there's F3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 or something like that. Fuse numbers that on that machine correspond on a 790E, not the Case. That
790 ELC.
LC. That's the
John
machine
Deere.
we are working on. That machine had an issue where the customer described it as wouldn't speed up or wouldn't get to full speed unless you performed a dig function, so bucket meter or swing cab or something like that.
We did it with the swing.
We did it with swing. And sure enough, we lifted a track up in the air, and you noticed it. You can tell.
It was the difference.
It's
on all
way
3
faster
modes.
on low, medium, and high.
So
speed.
what was happening is the PVC, which is the pump and valve controller, which is Deere terminology, wasn't for the travel side of the hydraulic system wasn't demanding the pump to stroke up.
Yeah.
It was only the dig side, so it wasn't stroking the pump until you bumped a dig function, and then that path in the computer stroked the pump.
Stroke the pump.
Like it's
There's
supposed
two
to.
separate paths on the PVC. There's the path for dig function and the path for your
Propel circuit,
which
is another Deere terminology.
which is Deere terminology. I would call that travel or something similar. But in short, when you were driving this excavator, you had both pedals to the floor. The pump was at 9 degrees of swash plate angle, which just means that's how far the pump is stroked.
Yes.
Which means it's only flowing that much fluid, that much hydraulic fluid out. So it can only make so much flow, and flow is your speed. When you would move a function like he was saying, that sucker would go
would take
where it was
off.
supposed to, and it would take off. You could tell. I was sitting on the machine.
especially in high,
Oh yeah,
even in reverse, which is
Oh,
what
yeah.
was the thing that told us it's not just.
it's not.
Because originally I thought it was like the pilot system was not getting the pressure it's supposed to, but
That's kind of what our first theory was. Yeah.
because we thought it was mechanical, we thought it was hydraulic system
Yeah.
that had physical problems.
Yeah.
Now we think it's either a bad controller or a blown fuse, or a broken wire.
It's
But we've narrowed it down to it's something with the computer,
yeah. Because
not stroking the pump
Deere-
until you bump a dig function.
I will give Deere one thing, and that is that diagnostic software we're using. That is something.
Service Advisor is
Service
really
Advisor
nice.
and that
Excavator Diagnostics.
excavator diagnostics we were running, because I don't think there's any other 90s machine on the market that has that. I know that Case up there doesn't, but with some machines you want it, and some machines you can do it with a gauge. But it was kind of nice to be able to have a centralized spot where we had 40 data points that we could look at, so we could look at pump stroke and pump output pressure. And,
That was pretty high tech for the 90s.
oh yeah, from 1995, that was something. But yeah, we were looking at it, and he noticed pretty much right away when you hit a dig function, that pump the angle would sweep up, and it wouldn't change at all when you moved, not even a bit. The only time it would change is with RPM, which is normal. So yeah, that was pretty neat to find that out. So we've narrowed it down to the point where it's electrical, not mechanical.
It's something electrical. We don't know what yet, but it's probably a blown fuse.
Blown fuse. Check the easy
That would
stuff
be what I
first.
would be leaning towards, because it's usually stupid, simple stuff that's the problem.
Always. And especially when we looked at Service Advisor and found out that there were like 5 fuses that went into that whole system, there's a pretty good chance that one of those is blown. The travel alarm fuse is blown too, and that's something interesting. But
Wonder if that was one of them.
That could be. That could be going to that circuit. Who knows?
Stupid travel circuit fuse is blown. And then it won't stroke the pump.
That is such a...
That would be awesome. I would laugh so
I
hard.
would laugh, but at the same time,
I would laugh and be upset at the same time.
Yeah, I would be
'cause we
pretty
spent,
upset.
We've spent like 3 whole days at this point working on it.
just on that. And before that, we were messing with it. We'd turn the pump relief up because you have to turn
We
the
turned the main system
system relief up to get the circuit reliefs to trip.
because circuit reliefs are higher than main system relief normally.
Yeah. So when you dig with your bucket, there's a relief because you don't want to blow your pump up. You don't want to blow anything up, hoses or anything. So there's individual reliefs for each function. So stick out, stick in, whatever, boom.
Circuit
Dig,
reliefs
travel.
protect the circuits from sudden increases in pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're digging and you hit the ground with the bucket, when it starts pulling really hard, the pressure's going to spike.
Yep.
So the circuit relief opens when it gets over whatever that's set at, so that it protects your cylinder and your hoses and your pumps and all that stuff
Yeah.
from excess pressure.
And excess pressure will cause excess wear or even fatal failure of the component.
Violent
Violent.
failure.
Pumps fail violently.
Tim's waterproof again. Remember that?
Yeah.
That wasn't the same thing, but it's
That
still
was pretty funny.
story.
Yeah, so that machine, and then there's also the ultimate fail safe is the system relief. The system relief
Yep.
is set lower than the circuit release so that it doesn't blow the pump up. And you have to turn that system relief up to get the circuit release to trip. Well, what happens when you do that and there's a weak hose on the output side of the pump? The hose gives out. It gave out.
Made part of the machine waterproof.
Yeah, and the ground a little bit. So I had to come in. We took it off. We took it off that day, right?
No, we couldn't. No, you got it off.
I got it off. Ben and I think, got it off. Might
Yeah,
have.
I was gone already.
I think so.
Or no, you had it off already.
We had it
We were
off.
trying to find block-off plates for the 4-bolt flange.
Yeah,
fittings.
and we ended up putting we put a plastic plug in one, and I put a rag in the other.
Anyway,
But yeah,
you got the hose off.
short story long. I got the
and then
hose
they
off,
made it.
and then I took it to our guy. They took it to our guy in Rainier, and then he made a hose. So thanks, appreciate that. And then even saved us a little money on that one. Put that back on the machine. I came in on Tuesday. Put that back on the machine the day before we got back to work on it, and then we started running some tests on it, and that's when we were finding our findings. Now we're down to
You were finding the findings.
we were finding our findings. We did it somewhat. We know roughly where we're going.
We have an idea. We have a much narrower direction to
Yeah,
go.
because originally we were bouncing between pilot line pressures and motor issues, and now that we know it's happening in all directions at all the speeds, it's pretty easy.
Doesn't matter what travel mode it's in
Yeah,
or which direction it is. It happens in every one.
yeah, and that machine doesn't know when it's in reverse or forward either, so that was a pretty good indicator that machine,
It's across
it's an
every
electrical
circuit
issue. Yeah, everything.
and every mode, so it's common between all of them.
Yeah, meaning
It's something with the pump,
the travel circuit's
which
not.
led us to measure the swash angle,
Yep.
and then we figured out that it wasn't stroking the pump until you did the dig side of the system.
Which, pretty telltale sign that's electrical right there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to figure that one out on Wednesday. We should have that one figured out on Wednesday. We're going to test some fuses.
It's probably the fuses.
It's probably the fuses. That's the part that sucks the most.
just a weak fuse burnt out.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have had all that stuff apart, all the body panels off of it, everything,
All we needed was the fuses.
and all we needed was a fuse box. Go in.
You're going into mechanics. Live by the phrase, check the easy
Check
stuff
the easy
first.
stuff
We're
first.
learning that the hard way.
What's the
Even
first
though we were told.
thing? I know the first thing you always check on every machine is not just the oil and the fluids. That's pretty important. Check your battery voltage. Go from there. Usually you can find blown fuses pretty quick by going battery, tracing up, looking at your diagnostic software, seeing what the swash plate angle is, and then going, huh, that's weird. Huh, weird. And then
Well, that only works if you have excavator diagnostics.
that's true. If you don't,
You're hosed.
yeah, you're gonna have to check pressures manually, and then that's when you figure out. Yeah, I don't even know. You can't even check swash plate angle without. Yeah, you wouldn't even know.
But you can buy that program.
Oh yeah, it's for those machines. Most of the stuff that people work on now, we're stuck in the past because that's the way we are. But most of the machines people work on now have diagnostics that you can just.
Well, everything has a computer.
Yep. And so now that's for on the technician side. Is some people might say, "Oh, it's made work harder for the techs or whatever."
Job security.
It's made job security, and
Just like emissions.
it actually does make it a little bit easier to have something that's a central link to everything that can tell you when something's wrong, or can show you numbers.
Could show you numbers at least to where
Yeah.
you can do stuff like, oh, it's doing this. You got to do this to activate it, and why is
Right.
it not doing it otherwise? Where
Right.
it's supposed to be.
Right, and usually you had to go down archaic routes of books and pressure readings and stuff, and we're
Getting adapters and hooking up pressure gauges.
yeah, I'm dying.
Are you having trouble breathing over there?
I need a tea.
Do you?
Yeah, but computers really have. I'll go back to the.
He walked away from his microphone again and expects to
talking.
be able to be heard.
Oh, we put these computers on stuff nowadays, but a lot of people like to complain about it. But the truth is,
Well, we were those people.
we are
for a
those
long
people
time.
for a while.
Well,
but
we still complain about it, but now I think we realize a little more that it's actually quite helpful
It's
to be able
pretty-
to plug
it's
a
pretty
computer in and
helpful.
read numbers instead of having to hook up gauges.
hook up gauges or stuff like, and it's just, you can see stuff you can't see with a computer, slosh plate angle and demanded slosh plate and stuff like that. That
Yep.
before going into this program, I don't think I ever would have realized or noticed how handy that is.
Yeah, because with the swash plate angle, I had commanded swash plate angle and
Yeah.
the actual swash plate angle.
Yeah, it was right there.
So we could have told if it was commanding one thing and wasn't doing it, we could have had a mechanical problem
Right
with
there.
the pump. But since it was both, then it's somewhere electrical. It's not demanding that it.
It's
Kicks
before the demand circuit, not
Yes.
after,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why diagnostic tools are so helpful
Mm-hmm.
in this industry, because
That's one thing our instructor says all the time is John Deere has good software,
yeah,
which I agree with.
I
It's very good that you can go into the theory of operation and it tells you how the system's supposed to work.
yeah,
And then you have diagrams of where everything is and really good color-coded hydraulic schematics and stuff like
I
that.
do like that. Yeah, and like we were saying, we'd be pretty curious to see what CNH's.
I want to
stuff
know what
looks
all
like.
of them look like now.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
We've used Cat ET a few times, but I've never actually used it myself
Yeah,
at work.
Cat ET is one of the ones that was born out of the 80s as well. It's older,
90s.
90s. It's an older piece of software, but it still gets the job done as far as I know. Their documentation's okay. It's good enough. It's going to get you somewhere. If it's got torque specs, if it's got numbers, what more do you need, really?
Mm-hmm.
But like Case International, this is pretty close to their kind of stuff. Their books are pretty good. They're older ones. This is old stuff,
Well, of course.
but their old ones are. I mean, they're pretty
International
good.
had pretty good books too.
So, and these are reprints from Case, I think. But yeah, their documentation was pretty good. Paper documentation, I always thought. But I'd be curious to see what CNH Industrial and CNH uses now. Be curious.
Probably pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'd love to get my greasy mitts on that.
I'd like to have some more access to some diagnostic software, but I need.
You gotta go be a dealer tech to do that,
I know.
or buy it, and that's expensive.
Eh.
Davy's like $2,000, I think.
Davey was for Kenworth?
PACCAR
PACCAR?
in general.
The whole thing? Yeah. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Can't afford.
We have Davy. We have Cat ET. I think that's it.
Davy and Cat ET.
The only other one we would need is like IDS for Ford,
Oh, yeah.
because all of our trucks are Fords pretty much, except for the one Chevrolet product.
Owner's truck.
No,
Oh, right.
foreman or general manager.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
Yeah, because they figured out that it's more economical to have him drive a truck that gets 34 miles to the gallon instead of a big F-250 that gets like 18.
Yeah. One we have down there gets 7, 10.
Which one?
They complain about it. The 550, the only one. The only Ford
Well,
down
that's
there.
because it's a gas.
Yeah. They're complaining about low power and no fuel economy. That's what you're going to get. Because it was...
It's either that or you can deal with all the emissions problems.
Yeah, I know. Deal with
'Cause
emissions problems.
No
and
matter what it is, you're going to have emissions problems.
Nowadays, yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
It's unfortunately, that's just...
Did you see the EPA's new guidelines for... maybe it wasn't EPA. I can't remember who it was now, but
Yeah.
they were going to make them do like a 4-year warranty on the entire emission system.
Oh, wow.
All manufacturers.
That's actually... That's a good idea.
That's going to make it more expensive. That's all it's going to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because they're going to be like, oh, we'll just factor that into the cost of the truck.
And then there you go.
On top of an engine option
That's
that's,
the
already
problem,
like
because
$8,000 to get a new...
The problem with the
engine.
manufacturers, all of them, everybody, nowadays, is that the idea behind that is great. Put a warranty on something that fails. It's going to fail. It just it happens.
That's on the people that make the laws.
And then the
not
manufacturer-
manufacturers.
It comes along, but yeah, they have to pay for it somewhere. So at the same time, it's like the manufacturer's got to pay for that.
That's what they don't...
And so it drives the cost.
People that have never run a business or taken a basic economics class just
Yeah.
don't understand that. Like our last governor
it was
had
bad.
no idea. He was like, we can pass a 99-cent fuel tax and it's not going to go to the gas stations. People aren't going to have to pay for that. Yeah, they are.
Right. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Look at Washington State's fuel prices versus states that literally neighbor us.
Montana.
Even Oregon was cheaper.
Yeah. Idaho's not that much cheaper.
Yeah, Idaho's not in a great.
Of course, as soon as you get into Washington, it's $1 more expensive per
Yeah.
gallon.
Oh yeah. That's
What
crazy.
a hellhole.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Why are we even here?
Because our families have been here for almost 100 years
Fair enough.
or more.
Or more.
Yours has been here longer than that.
Oh, I'd have to think about that though.
My grandpa is 73, and he moved to the farm that we're at now when he was 1 year old.
Wow. That's a long time.
72 years.
72 years. I don't know. My grandpa's been rooted on this side of the country.
I'd be sad to see it go,
Yeah.
but also we're going to get to a point. I
There's
think both of us eventually we're going to get to a point where
we can't take it
we
anymore.
can't afford it anymore.
No, it's not. We can't afford. I don't think either of us could buy a place at all.
Not even like a bare piece of land.
No.
Unless it's like a tenth of an acre
Yeah.
with no power and no water.
Yeah. 1 acre around here. It's don't even get me
Open
started.
spaces is like, depending on where it is, but in this county, it's like 30,000 an acre.
It sucks.
That's a lot of money.
It just sucks. Yeah. No land. It's impossible to just buy land now. You're gonna have to go.
I know
somewhere where
some
it's cheaper.
people from Wyoming just like
Yeah, I know.
had a seizure
They had
when
a
we
seizure
said that.
when we said $30,000 an acre. Sorry. It's ridiculous. It is. It's hard.
We should
It's
move to Wyoming.
yeah. Go to Wyoming.
Big square.
Yeah, and
big
everything there is
rectangle.
square too. Land, fields, everything's square.
You need to watch Yellowstone
I do need to watch
because
Yellowstone.
then I can make jokes about the train station and you'll understand.
Oh no.
Do you want me to tell you since you're probably never going to watch it?
You'll tell me, and then I'll go to watch it, and I'll be like, "That's what he was talking about."
You've been saying you're gonna watch it for like a year now.
I know. Everybody else tells
It's
me.
over already. The
Everybody
show
else-
is done.
Everybody else tells me to watch
You
it.
need to watch it. It's really good.
That's what I've heard. I know. I've been bad about that.
That's what we should do. We should have movie nights.
Movie nights.
That was a nice face.
I
Anyway,
drank a little
do
more.
you want me
too.
to tell you what it is?
Yes.
It is that's where they take all the bodies.
Oh.
That's where everybody takes all the bodies. You want to know why?
Why?
It's just over the Wyoming border.
Oh.
And it's a county with no people and no sheriff
Oh.
because there's nobody there.
Oh.
So they just throw the bodies into a canyon
Nice.
and nobody ever gets caught
Nobody
for
ever
it.
gets caught. Nice.
So there you go. Now you know what the train station is.
I get it. I understand now.
It's a good show. You need to watch that. It's a pretty good.
I
show.
probably do, yeah.
It's a really good show.
I was watching the Grand Tours last episode. No, that was a while ago now. That was pretty sad.
Never seen it.
Never seen it?
No.
Grand Tour. Yeah, it ended pretty spectacularly. They went to end it. They went to where they first started.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was pretty emotional. It's a tough one, but it was good.
I was happy with the ending of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
That's good.
It was. That guy can write a show. Taylor Sheridan can write a
Yeah.
TV show.
That's what I've heard.
He's got. See, we're watching 2 more of his shows now.
Oh yeah.
We're watching, or actually 3 of them. Or no. There's only 2 that are active right now. I think.
Oh yeah.
But he's written like movies, like Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
You ever seen that?
I've heard of it.
That was him also.
Oh, wow.
So there's Yellowstone. There's
A lot of big ones.
1923. There's 1883. That's a good show too. That's about them coming from Tennessee to Montana.
Oh wow.
And then there's Lioness, which is about like the military now, modern day stuff,
Yeah.
which is really weird. And then there's that might be it.
Our military is pretty impressive. If you've seen what we can do.
I just like all the reels that have been floating around about
yeah.
other people talking crap and China and everybody.
Those are my favorite.
What's really making me upset right now is Canada like posturing like they're going to tariff us back
What's that
more
gonna,
than they already do.
What's that gonna do?
Just piss everybody off.
I guess that's not even.
Well, like
They say that like that's gonna affect us that much. Is what I'm getting at. It really look at all the stuff that's really made in Canada. There's not much.
yeah,
There's not much. I mean, forestry equipment, sure, but there's already U.S. headquarters and offices for a lot of that stuff
in factories.
here. A lot of forestry stuff is made in the USA.
My grandma was at her house earlier and she was talking about it. Like a bunch of the people that live in Canada right across the border come into the U.S. to buy like milk because it's like $8 a gallon in Canada. Because their tariffs are so high for importing milk from here.
All
across
that's
the border.
going to do is make life for Canadians worse than it already is.
Mm-hmm.
Their last prime minister or whatever was a joke.
Justin Trudeau.
Justin Trudeau was a joke. Total joke.
It's just, I don't know.
It made the farmers mad, which you don't do, by the way. Don't do that. That's a good way. When there's an entire territory, more than a couple territories that are just like wheat fields and farm, don't do that. Little tidbit of advice.
Well, then you have like Montana and
Like for us.
Idaho,
We have
then North Dakota.
Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota,
Wyoming.
all of the whole area of the Great Plains, Nebraska, all of that. We have all of that.
That's red.
That's
for
red.
one, and that's all farmers.
Farmers.
Which means everybody has guns.
Yes.
Everybody.
My favorite saying
The 5-year-old
think I
kid
learned.
wandering around in the backyard, he's probably got
He's
a
got
gun.
a gun. The
He's
yeah.
got a shotgun.
Oh yeah, he's got a double barrel, 20 gauge, well armed.
Anyway,
Sorry.
sidetracking you a little bit.
Favorite saying was, farmer down in Nebraska. We were sitting around the fire, and we were talking about. I don't remember how we got to invading. If somebody invaded, he said, "We've got a gun behind every blade of grass out here. I think we'd do all right," or something to that effect.
There was a comedian that told a similar joke. It was
Yeah.
like, if they landed in like, what's down there at the bottom? I can't remember what states or
Well, there's
like Texas and
yeah.
Louisiana,
yeah,
Oklahoma, all
there
those places
would be
down
no
there.
contest.
He was like, if it was like Chinese troops, they would be like, they wouldn't even know what hit them. They'd maybe get like 30 miles inland,
Yeah,
and there would be a parade of pickup trucks and NASCAR.
yeah, that joke. I
with
remember that
empty
joke.
beer cans being tossed out the
Yeah.
side the whole way there.
The whole way there.
And guys with AKs sitting in the back. And like, yeah, that would not go well for them.
No,
I don't think people realize just how many people have guns.
it's
Everybody has
everybody
one.
has one. That's on
Unless you're a
if
Democrat
you're
and you live in a
Democrat or
city.
left side or something like that, or you live in the city or whatever. But everybody out here in the country has a firearm that I know of. We've all got
Everybody
something.
I know has one.
Everybody I know has one. Yeah. Everybody, a couple people I know have a lot more than one.
Anyway, the point is everybody has guns.
Yeah, I got a lot more than one. I can tell you that. But yeah,
I don't know. It's just everybody's in a measuring contest right now. That's what it is. No, mine's bigger. No, mine's
got
bigger.
bigger.
No, mine's bigger.
we found out there's a story that was told. I forget what podcast that was on. I was listening to a different podcast.
How
And,
dare you? You listen to a different podcast than ours? What's wrong with you?
something's wrong with me. But we were talking. Oh, yep, big stretch there.
Oh, my spine.
But yeah,
It's okay, that was optional.
you didn't need a spine.
The spine was optional.
Spines are optional extra.
You're getting pretty low there in the
I know. That Winco's getting close to being open too.
It's gonna be perfect timing.
I know. It's getting close. But yeah, we found the fox bat. That was nice. Why did you do that?
I was trying to make it go up, and that didn't work very well.
No, it's locked.
I want to do this
The MiG.
so I can stand.
I don't know if you know about the MiG 25 fox bat story.
No.
So Russian military jet, MiG 25, nicknamed the fox bat. That premiered. I forget what year that premiered or came out. It was during Cold War. That showed up. We spotted it or saw it somehow. Got intelligence on it. I don't remember how the story goes, but what I do know is we got scared because we thought it was incredibly ahead of its time. And so we made the F-15, which was as advanced as it could be, made of the lightest materials we could at the time, had the most firepower for its size. Russian guy escapes the USSR using a Foxbat onto a runway in a country just outside the USSR. He gets out, he lands the plane, whatever. We now can get intelligence on this thing more than we ever have before. This is a long ways after the Foxbat was in production. Turns out it's a pile of garbage. It's made of
Well, it's Russian.
heavy metal. Yeah, heavy metal. It's slow. It's inefficient. It has firepower, but it's
Not enough.
not enough. They were like 20 years behind, and we thought they were 20 years ahead, so we built a plane 20 years ahead.
do. It's just posture and try and fearmonger everybody.
Yeah, and that's what the left does. Just saying.
Yeah, but that's what foreign leaders do too, because they're
Yeah, and that's what
so
dictatorships
scared
do.
of us that they try and make everybody else scared of them.
All
By
militaries, to some degree, lie a little bit. Ours lies in the opposite direction sometimes, and I think that's kind of funny.
That's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
Is. Well, yeah, just because they come out publicly with another jet doesn't mean that's the jet we're on.
Yeah, that's right.
That means that there's 2 generations ahead of that, and that's just what they're comfortable letting the public know.
What was that story? There's another story. It just came to my head. We made drones that were like stealth drones that are they're like a plane, they're heavily armed, and we can land them on aircraft carriers. They were super cool. They could land themselves on aircraft carriers.
Mm-hmm.
We only documented that we only made 5, and then canceled the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're probably still being made. But, yeah. It's cool to me because they can show that and then they can be like, we canceled the program, wink, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, buddy. And then we can have this really cool thing. But that's what we do, and I think that's cool because
nobody ever really knows what you're capable of.
that's the point. The whole point is not what the dictatorships are doing in, like, North Korea and China.
All their cards.
They're like, check this out, we're the greatest. That's not what you should do in war or a Cold War or something like that. That's not what you should do. That doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you've done is shown the enemy, us,
everybody,
the other side, everybody, how far ahead we are. That's just it. And the ultimate thing that my favorite thing that we do to mess with people is we can deploy at Burger King within 24 hours. halfway across the world. We have a awesome Burger King that gets rolled out of the back of a C-130 or similar. It is deployed. It's a fully operational Burger King.
That's great.
I'm not even joking. That is a real thing. That's a joke that's been going around for a while, and I think that's hilarious. It's so good.
That's awesome.
Within 24 hours, we can have a Burger King on the ground and operational for the troops. 24 hours, halfway across the world.
That's
Can
great.
you imagine? Socialist or communist nation can't even feed their troops that well. Across the battlefield, Burger King comes flying
We drop
in.
one like right in the DMZ in South Korea.
Oh yeah, dude.
That'd be hilarious. All the North Koreans would defect. Yeah. Be like, food.
Oh man, that would be so funny. Yeah, just a
I
reminder.
wonder how well it would come across if I played a reel through the microphone. I want to try that now.
Depends on the reel.
I'm going to play that one that I sent you.
You sent me a lot today. Well, actually, no, you didn't. Is it the
one about the boats? Where he's like, I smell misconduct with boats.
Don't mess with the boats.
Let's see if I can get this to work here. Why is it... Why? Why are you like this?
I smell misconduct with boats.
I smell misconduct with boats. China, what are you doing? We're just doing normal exercises. Normal exercises around Taiwan? Taiwan, China? We're gonna go wherever we want. No, you literally can't go wherever you want. Sometimes your boats fill up on the inside with water. You're supposed to keep the water on the outside. Our boats keep water outside of the boat. No, you're bad at boats. I'm good at boats. I'm a boat master. You're a boat novice, maybe. You think you're so cool? We have way more boats than you. You have fishing vessels with guns. I have boats that singularly carry enough people and firepower to topple nations. My boats are more technologically advanced. Your boats catch fire. You keep talking, and I'm gonna start putting sponsors on the side. An aircraft carrier coming and your up with Home Depot all over it is gonna be really embarrassing.
Home Depot all over it.
Can you imagine? Just imagine
Yes,
an
I can.
aircraft carrier with, like, just on the whole, just Home Depot in bright orange
or
letters.
like Lowe's or Chick-fil-A. I don't think. I think
Burger King.
Burger King, sponsored by Burger King. This crippling act of war, sponsored by Burger King.
Oh my! I love that. That's hilarious.
Put that on a T-shirt. This crippling act of war brought to you by Burger
We
King.
should do that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh,
Now we need to start making merch for our podcast.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
This crippling act of war brought to you by
Burger King.
Except we can't say Burger King on the shirt because we probably get sued.
I mean, you could just the logo would have to be legally distinct.
Yeah. Anyway. Brought to you by Home Depot.
Home Depot. This mortar brought to you by Home Depot.
Oh
We need
man.
to start putting sponsorship on our boats. Oh, it'd be good.
On the shells.
Yeah, on the shells.
On mortar shells.
They used to in World War II. They used
Just
to
on the side of the barrel. Home Depot.
Home Depot. It's a pipe. Just saying.
You start making pipe bombs and giving them to the military. Material source from Ace Hardware.
Ace Hardware. This pipe bomb brought to you by Ace Hardware.
That is great. I
With
love that.
gunpowder from Cabela's. Oh,
Oh.
that's funny.
Oh.
Yeah, it.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody's playing playing this game of who's bigger or whatever, and all that does is it just shows who's not quite got their head in the right
Maybe
place.
that's his plan.
Maybe.
Maybe he's just trying to rile everybody up.
Mhm.
I got tears in my eyes from that. That was how funny that was. Oh, I haven't laughed that hard in a while.
The right thing to do would be to show stuff that's like a couple generations back from what you're actually developing,
Which is kind of what we do.
which is kind of what we do.
I think. I don't know. Because I'm no military man.
We're not military
I'm just a
experts.
simple, stupid farmer.
And the thing is everything within the military is very classified for a reason.
Yeah.
Everything is a secret. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't tell the little people much.
No. We're just expected to pretty much just pay our taxes and hope that gets put to the right thing, I guess.
I wouldn't make it as a politician.
No. I wouldn't either.
Wow, you made it that time.
Can down. I was thirsty.
I think anybody that's like actually genuinely honest
Yeah, being a genuine
and has
human
like
being.
a good moral compass,
Yeah, a human being.
cannot be a successful politician.
No, because every
Because
politician
you have to be willing to stab people in the back to be a politician.
doesn't matter who you are. There's an element of you have to be willing to go behind somebody's back.
Or over somebody's head.
Or it's politicians nowadays. It didn't used to be that way back in the old days. Because, we used to hear stories of, I mean, of course, not in the 70s and stuff, because there was Nixon and people like that, but we had people like Reagan, though. That was a good
Nixon. Oh, what an idiot.
guy. Yeah.
The election that he thought he had to try and steal, he won like 48 states. In a landslide.
Yeah.
And he still cheated. Or he didn't even cheat. He just spied on the other campaign.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, cheating. But
That's cheating.
mean, he didn't actually rig the election. And he still won like 48 states.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we had Reagan. Reagan was a good one. Mm-hmm. Reagan was a good president. He was the last truly genuine guy. Truly genuine.
Yeah. He was funny too.
Oh yeah,
Reagan was pretty funny.
Reagan was pretty funny.
Even though we weren't alive
No, I just
for
hear
like
stories.
another 30 years.
Yeah, I know. I just hear stories from when my mom and my dad were growing up around his time, and yeah, he wrote some books too, pretty good books.
He got shot also.
He did. He did. Yeah, we have one of his books. I need to read it sometime. But yeah, he was a pretty good guy, and then yeah, before that, back in the early days, we had some good presidents.
And we had some
Back
bad
then,
ones.
and we had some terrible ones.
Want to hear a conspiracy theory about the Titanic?
I think you told me this one, but I don't know that we've said it on the podcast yet.
No, probably not. This is where people are going to start thinking we're going off the deep end.
Because at about 50 minutes in at 10 o'clock at night, we are.
Are we already 50 minutes in?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Anyway, well, there's two theories that are like circulating in my mind all the time
About it.
about the Titanic, and
Yeah.
the one that I heard one of them was that they switched it with the Olympic because the Olympic was a troop ship in the First World War,
Yeah.
and that was even before it was used in military stuff in wartime.
Yeah.
It ran into a destroyer and it damaged the hull. So it was already damaged. And it was already damaged beyond the point where they would allow it to carry passengers. So the whole thing is that they switched them out so that because the insurance company wouldn't insure the Olympic anymore because it was damaged.
Right.
So the theory is that they switched him out right before the Titanic left so that they could insure it and then sink it for the money.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
And the other one is
I can see that happening.
what was it exactly? I'm trying to remember. We're going to get the details right. All of the richest people in this country, went on the Titanic.
Yes.
Not
they
all
did.
of them, but
A lot
it
of
was
them
mostly
did, 'cause
rich people.
Yeah, a lot of them did. A lot of rich people did.
And then they all died. Most of them died.
Right.
And later in the same year, the Federal Reserve was established.
Huh.
So the theory is that because those people didn't want the Federal Reserve to be a thing, because they were like, no, you're trying to control our monetary system, and we don't want that.
Right.
So then the theory is that they sent all those people on a boat that they knew was going to sink,
I could see that.
so that they could no longer voice their opinion against it.
Use their money as power against the Federal Reserve, in a way.
Hmm?
I could see that too. I could see both of them. I could see the insurance claim deal, trying to get a payout, because both of them at some point involve money in a way.
Money is behind everything.
Money is behind everything kind of way, and it's like they're trying to get money both ways. They're trying to do something
Mm-hmm.
that they shouldn't be doing to get that money.
That's the one thing that makes people, shall we say, put their morals away
Yeah,
and not
they kind of lock them in a box, but
Yeah.
once there's enough money involved,
money and power.
yeah.
What is it that what's his name says? All power corrupts,
Yeah.
and what?
How's that go? 'Cause I know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
power corrupts,
Yeah, it does.
and then there's the second part I can't remember.
But power does
But-
corrupt, and you start.
Unless you have someone who knows how to handle it,
Yeah, right.
like we have now.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of stuff.
Because he's had that insulation power, whatever you want to call it, with all of his money for so long
Yeah,
that he knows he's used to it. it's not new to where the point like where he's like, oh, I got to keep this.
Yeah.
And I got to find a way to stay in power.
Right. He's just using it, trying to get
People
it.
call him a dictator because he questioned the last election. And it's like, well, if you start to look at it, there's a lot of inconsistencies.
Look at. Yeah.
Calling somebody crazy for simply questioning something is not.
That's not the right way to behave.
No.
It's not.
Stupid.
That's not how it should work. But it's because we've gotten
Everybody's so divided now.
It's gotten so divided, and that's the big issue with this country right now, as a whole. Is
I think it's changing.
division.
I think it's getting better.
I
think
hope so. My only thing is I hope so, because we've
I
had.
don't remember if we talked about it or not. But
Division.
the Tumwater School District was being sued
Oh really? For what?
because it was girls wrestling. I want to say.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. One of the girls on the team, there was a biological male on the other team, and she said, I will not wrestle this person.
Yeah.
And the school was like, okay, well then just don't come because we're not going to forfeit the match for that.
Wow. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
And they were like, excuse me?
like,
So then they threatened to sue him. And go figure, now they're abiding by the federal law now.
oh wow.
Because Trump signed an order banning biological males from female sports.
Yeah.
Which is, that makes sense. The one that sticks with me is the volleyball player where a transgender dude or
Yeah.
transgender I don't know,
Whatever.
woman,
Yeah, whatever.
if you
it
want
is.
to call it that. I got a funny thing I could say, but it's not appropriate for the podcast.
it's not appropriate for.
I'll tell you after if I remember.
I got a lot of things I can say that I can't say right here.
Anyway, I'll call it it. How about that?
Sure.
Spiked
I
a
used to do that.
volleyball into a girl's face, and it like broke her nose and a bunch of other stuff, and like partially paralyzed her. That's
Oh,
how
wow.
hard it hit her.
Ow.
It's like there's a reason.
There's
There's a reason they shouldn't be in female sports.
Yeah.
And the only reason they do it is because they can't make it in men's sports. So they're like, "Oh, I'm a woman now. I'm going to put on a training bra and go play volleyball with all these women."
This is what it is. I'm sorry. That's just what it is.
Because you can't make it in the male side, so you're going to be like, "Oh, now I'm a woman," and then you're going to
You know where this
kill
all
everybody.
You know where this all stems from? Participation trophies.
Yeah.
I can't.
You're not allowed to hug your children. It's going to make him gay. That was a Bill Burr joke, I think. Yeah. His dad, who's like, "Don't hug the children. They're going to be gay if you hug them." I'm like, okay, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's a way to parent,
Yeah.
and most people don't.
Yeah, and not anymore. You see it all the time. And not doing it the other way is neglect. Doing it the way that they're doing it's technically neglect in a way. It drives me up the wall.
Allowing somebody to make a decision that monumental before they're 18 is stupid.
That's dumb.
Because everybody goes through phases.
It's dumb.
And
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
just dumb.
just encourage it because they're going to change their mind in a month and be completely opposite. And most of I've heard plenty of stories. Of
I've heard
people
stories that they get forced into it, too.
Yeah. I've heard stories where they transition and then a couple years later they're like, "I wish I never would have done this to myself."
It's dumb.
It's like, no way.
It's not the way it doesn't work that way. You can't do that. Not without repercussions later on down the road. And yeah, this is a heavy topic, but it's true. You can't, without heavy health and mental repercussions down the road, you just can't do it. Especially not that early.
Just because you don't like your factory options doesn't mean you can change
Doesn't
it.
mean you can change them.
If you're unhappy with yourself, you need to figure that out.
Yeah. Figure if you're on it's probably
Therapy
not
exists
that.
for a reason.
That's what it's for. And it's usually not it's not that. It's something else. It's something in you. It's not this is dumb to me. You know?
And when you encourage that, there's lots of different things that can cause other stuff like there's lots of things that parents can do that cause other stuff in their children way on down the road.
Yes. Oh yeah.
It's like Buddy, my dog.
Yeah.
He was starved for attention his entire until we got him, basically.
Yeah.
So then now all he does is he wants attention, and then when you don't give him attention, he will find a way to
Yeah.
give you.
Oh yeah.
That's an example of it right there. Children, I mean, they're not the same, but they're the same.
They're similar. Yeah.
If you treat your children like that, they're gonna crave attention for the rest of their life,
Oh yeah.
or until they mature to the point where they realize that's not a healthy way to live. But until they realize that, or until they deal with that,
Right.
they're gonna find a way to get attention,
That's
and whatever's getting you attention in society at that moment is what's. And right now, it's the transgender and
yeah. It's all that.
LGBTQIA,
Because
whatever the hell it is now.
The reason they do it, and this has been talked about before, and we're just gonna say it right here. It's because they want to feel like they're a part of something. Let's be honest. It starts with participation
Humans have
trophies
heard
in a way.
some, it's a hard thing to talk about because there's not really a good way to say it. Because some people have a herd mentality, some people are creative thinkers.
Right. That's just it.
There's followers and there's leaders.
Yep.
I guess that's a good way of putting it.
The leaders can start something, and the herd thinkers will come along and want to feel like they're a part of something.
Or the herd will start something and they just get so loud that the people in charge are like, okay, fine, we'll deal with it.
Whatever, yeah. But there's a point. Yeah, there's just a point for all that where it's gone too far.
It's definitely gone too far.
And then the last,
And you're mutilating your children because they
and they might have
don't
said
know.
something. They don't know anything.
They don't know anything. They could, like I said, children change their mind every 10 seconds.
They don't know any better. They probably they probably said it. Some of them probably said it jokingly. They didn't know what they were saying. That's happened before. Somebody said it jokingly once and then got forced through the whole thing. Never wanted it to happen, but it happened. Mm-hmm. And now they're stuck with it. And it's like
Children repeat things that they hear.
yes.
Even if they don't know what it means, if they hear it, they usually repeat it.
At 8, 10 years old, they're not going to know what they're saying. I didn't know what I was saying at 8 and 10 years old. That's for sure.
No, neither did I.
That is for sure. Sure wasn't saying that. That's for sure.
But if you're being bombarded with it,
Which is what the media.
which is another thing, I don't think children should have phones until they're at
No, they
least
should not.
at least in middle school, at the very earliest.
Our most recent generation, Gen Alpha, I think it is, the one after us.
Some of these kids have phones in like 4th grade.
Earlier than that, even it's ridiculous.
I'm like, why?
They have
This
access
is
to
not-
the internet
Yeah,
at 5 years old or earlier,
you should be outside touching grass.
like we did. When I was a
I
kid,
was in the sand pile. That was my.
sand pile.
That's
Yeah,
my
I had a
hangout.
sandbox too. Back when I was out here, when I was 5 years old.
Oh yeah.
I was
There's a
out here.
picture of me. My grandpa was laying on the floor
Yeah.
under. Oops. Oh well.
Oh well, it's fine.
Under the 61 flatbed, I think.
Yeah.
He was working on something, and I'm like leaning. I'm leaning against him, watching what he's doing.
Yeah. Just
I didn't even know how to walk yet.
Yeah.
I was just standing there watching him.
like, huh. It's interesting.
That's where my obsession with mechanics started.
Yeah, my obsession with mechanics was I had to. Well, I'm sure, seeing what my dad was doing outside because I lived at that little shack by the lake there for 2 years
Yeah.
when I was younger. There's a home video of me on we had a disc camcorder, one of the camcorders that had a little spinning miniature DVD in it
Nice.
that recorded. There's one of those videos somewhere, and it's a video of me sitting on that little blue tractor that's up there in the barn, little mini New Holland, just sitting on it, playing with the controls and driving it. Mm-hmm. And now I think of that video and I go, that's where that came from.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I was goofing off on a tractor at 2 years old. I could have started that thing and drove through the wall.
Yep.
I think he took the keys out of it when he left it with me because that was one of the things that I was known for getting in a lot of trouble.
There's a lot of ways to get in trouble.
Yeah, I took. Well, one time in the house, I took we had one of those like Lazy Susans inside a corner door.
What did you do?
There was a bunch of soup cans in there.
Oh, God.
I took all the soup cans and I lined them up for some reason.
On the floor?
On the floor. I lined them up all the way around the island, like over across the side. I don't know why.
That's great. Now put it back.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened. Why did you do that?
Fix it.
I don't know. I was 2 years old. I had no idea. I was just messing with stuff because that was the kind I used to mess with stuff at a very young age.
I think I was a very troubled child. I made it to the principal's office every year until 3rd grade.
Oh wow.
I
I'm
was a
sure I was doing
troublemaker.
something similar. I don't know if I was doing that, but there was. I hardly remember first, second, third. Earliest memories that I have, 6th grade. I used to get in detention a lot.
That's your earliest memory?
Earliest memory I can conjure is the cans, stacking the cans.
That's awesome.
Because that is something that was also recorded, but I have that in my head, burned into my head.
The first memory, the earliest one I can remember is sitting in a booster seat in a semi with my dad.
Yeah, riding down the road.
No, we were sitting at pickup somewhere.
Huh.
Just sitting there.
Sitting there.
That's all I remember.
I remember
Booster seat.
the cans, and I also remember sitting in the back of a 68 Camaro that my dad had. He had
Yeah.
that car for a while, but
Hmm.
it was worth more than, and he didn't really drive it that much, so he got rid of that car. And then after that, I do remember the blue Ford, the old blue Ford cattle hauler.
Oh,
That was a brick nose
Hmm.
Ford with it was like a metal flake blue with aluminum bed, F350, 7.3 IDI with a turbo. That truck was pretty sweet,
yeah.
but it wasn't that comfortable to drive. I can tell you that. That thing rode horrible. That's all I remember.
One done from the 80s.
Yeah, well, the spring pack on the back of that thing, I guess, it was worse than that.
But this thing is
This
pretty
thing
bad.
rides like a lumber wagon. Don't get me wrong. It's the one in the picture.
My 6-liter.
Yeah.
It's lovely sitting right next to us.
Yeah, that one rides like a lumber wagon.
Compared to your truck, it rides like a lumber wagon.
Yeah, but so does a pillow compared to my truck. So it's like driving on a cloud, pretty much.
It does ride nice. I'll give you that. Your GM product
My-
rides pretty nice.
That's what they're for. Oh yeah, the reason that truck does that over bumps, why my truck does the cloud float over bumps where it goes up and down, it's the torsion beams, the torsion bars in the front.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that because the other truck down at the office that's exact similar year does the same thing. I was driving it. I was like, this does it too. It's the torsion bars. They're
Chevy suspension. Twin I-beam probably does the same kind of
similar. Twin I-beam is coil springs though, over the top, right?
thing. I don't know. I don't remember.
I think they're coil spring. Those were supposed to be like a
Yeah, they're coil.
They're
They're
supposed to be
coil
like a
with shocks.
desert suspension kind of deal, and they did use them. They desert raced with them. And
Well, that was just for comfort, I think.
yeah, they
Something different.
they used to. There's like really
Came
cool.
out in '65, so
Oh yeah, there's really cool like vintage videos and photos of Ford trucks desert racing, the old ones, Twin I-beam, and they'd be up in the air and the wheels would be like this.
Yep.
Dangling
That's what
down.
Twin I-beam does.
It does. That's how it because it unlike independent, the wheels there's it's essentially a solid axle split in half with a pivot in the middle.
Yeah,
And so
pretty
the
much.
wheels don't have they're a parallel track to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So when it goes up in the air, they do this, or when you back up,
There's still a mic stand there.
yeah, I just hit that. I do that every time. This is
You didn't last time. Actually, you probably did.
I probably
you managed
did.
to do it every time.
I probably did. I just did it soft enough that the microphone didn't hear it. That might. But yeah,
How did we get here? What were we? We started at politics.
we didn't start at politics. We
Well,
started.
no, we
at
started before that at something else.
Pump. Yeah, excavators, and then we're
That's right.
we went to politics, and we went to. Yeah,
Memories. That's what it was.
memories. Yeah,
Yeah, I learned. First tractor I learned to drive was our International,
yeah. Which one?
and I think it was like 7, the 544.
544.
The only one.
The only international.
The only one that's not a Ford.
It's true. A lot of Fords there. The first international we ever. It's right there. It's sitting behind me actually. That's my first one.
Yep. No, that one. Well, it's a hydro, so it's the easiest one to drive.
Makes sense.
So I started on that. I got started on that one. I learned how to Ted hay. That was the first thing I ever did. That was my first job.
That is a good, my opinion, farm kid right here, just saying this. As a tier list of first jobs to learn, that's a good one because there's not a lot of finesse that goes into that. I think that's a good one. That's because that's what I
You're
started
just in
on.
a field driving in circles.
Yeah, because that's what I started with was tedding. Because
it seems to be a common theme.
Yeah, because you can set if you're.
We always rake in the outside.
Our parents or grandparents, you're gonna set this kid free for the first time.
You don't want him near a fence.
You don't want him. No, you don't want him near a fence, and you don't. Because the first thing that I remember was my dad always had to go around one round, and I was like, why? Because he wanted to keep me away from the fence.
Yeah, my grandpa did the same thing.
And then
we would always rake it in one from the outside.
Yeah, rake it in one.
You guys do that
with
just a rake?
You just
hay rake, yeah. That would be. We
nice.
Rake it in, so there's a little bitty windrow right there.
There you go. That'd be nice. Yeah, we
just rake it away from the fence, so the tedder's further away from the fence.
Once my dad was done running one round around me, I was thrown into the fire because we always ted next to the fence, and so he's like, "Here you go." Like, okay. The tedder's the outside basket's turning, and it's about that far from the fence line, and you're like.
It's a little nerve-wracking the first time you do it.
This isn't fun. And then you get the hang of it. But, yeah, it's tedding was the first thing, I think. Then, because you don't want to turn your kid loose raking because the rows will be like...
like a spaghetti noodle.
Oh, I remember my first rows. My dad still makes fun of me for those.
See, I never got to rake a whole lot because that was always my grandma's job. And I never got to bale or mow for a very long time.
Very long time, yeah. It was probably not till... I didn't get to bale till I was...
I still don't.
13? 14? Maybe?
It's probably around there somewhere.
Because the first job I ever did, I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
I was driving a hay truck. That's what I was doing. Because then I went to tedding. And then...
See, you guys are different, too, because you actually use your hay.
Yeah, we
don't ever have to get the truck out.
Yeah, we have to use...
Or the bale wagon.
Yeah. Yeah, that bale wagon sits in there. Wow.
It gets used once every couple years, probably.
Yeah.
But that's the nice thing about the way my grandpa does things now is selling it to other people is you rarely have to touch it.
Yeah.
And that's very nice.
Out the door.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way we custom hay. Everything goes out the door.
Fire sale everything.
Fire sale everything.
It's gone.
If it's cheap enough, people will come. $2 a bale hay, we did that. That stuff sold.
Quick.
Just like that. We fire sale.
My problem is you guys have little fields where there's like 20, 30, 50, 100.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple hundred at most.
The most that we get in a field is like, or at a job, because some of them are multi-field jobs, is like 300.
Yeah, see, I do 2 fields.
You do,
and I have
all of
1,700 bales.
Yeah, you do all of what we used to do in 2022 in 2 fields. Yeah. So it's fire selling is a little bit harder because we can fire sell because we start the supply and then keep the supply going throughout the hay season. Mm-hmm. And then by the time the hay season's over, we've done our last field, our last 100 or whatever, and then that goes out the door.
I can't do that.
You can't do that. So
I could. I think this year I have a list of a few people that want it.
Yeah,
for sure. Again.
Okay, that's good. That's always a good start.
So that's a good start.
So you can just reach out
and
to
then
those
I
people.
can post it on Marketplace like a week before I do it, maybe 2 weeks before I do it.
That's what I would do. 2 weeks or so. Be like,
so I can get a bunch of people lined up.
Oh yeah,
and I'll be ready.
Because you want to do it before everybody else has kicked the season off.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be checking the listings for that because you can see when people are listing stuff that's new or old, year old, or because some people list stuff to get it out of their barn before they start the year. And you can differentiate that post before everything is being dropped right now. we're hitting the hay fields. Everybody is, because you can see the difference in posting and frequency between. I'm just selling my last year's stuff to get it out of the barn, and we are hitting the field right now.
Yeah.
And then you just see a flood of posts come in because it's like we're hitting the field right now.
I want to try and do it like
Usually like
June,
yeah,
August, June.
it's a good time. We did
Well,
when and if the weather is
June, but I don't want to do it as late as I did last year.
like almost September, because
The end of
August pretty much.
August.
It was pretty late, but yeah, because we do first field right out there. June 21st, 22nd is around the time that
I
one
need to call
kicks
that guy.
off.
I keep forgetting.
But sometimes it doesn't kick off, so just depends on the weather. Pretty much.
I need to call that guy and ask him. 'Cause there's still cows on it,
Oh yeah,
so I need to ask him. One, I mean, I want to do it again.
yeah,
That's a good field to have.
right.
I want to do it. If he's gonna let me do it, I'm gonna ask him. I'll ask him if he's gonna let me do it again, and then I'll ask him when are you planning on getting the cows off of it,
Yeah,
because they need to come off soon if you are gonna let me do it again. Because I need to drag it at the very least, and if I can, I would like to fertilize it also,
that'd be nice.
so
That
I
would
can
be
get
nice.
1,500 bales off the front field instead of 12.
Misery.
I'm not gonna do anything to the back field.
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Because it's all swamp grass, and
Yeah.
that's all that would ever grow there.
Yep.
Because it's like the middle of that field is still full of water.
No. Swamp grass.
I could do that.
That's
There's an idea.
What?
I could do the front field early, and then do the back field
later.
because it's crap anyway, and it's
Yeah, it
cheap.
doesn't matter. It's cheap. You can make cheap hay for later. Fire sale it at like.
I don't want
$4
anybody
a bale.
walking on that field though. That thing's horrible. You walked on it. You
Yeah,
remember
it was terrible. It's horrible.
It's a good way to break an ankle.
Yeah, I've been in some bad ones. That one's pretty bad too.
That stuff.
Too bad.
That wouldn't be bad because that's.
Canary grass.
There's an idea. I could do the front field first, earlier in the season, and then wait for the other field.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know what canary or swamp grass is, think eastern, like the eastern part of the U.S. has Johnson grass, and some places have ditch grass. Think of those, but with absolutely zero nutrients at all.
Yeah, that's the thing about canary grass is it's grass, but there's no.
There's too much
Nutritional
stem.
value in it
There's
at all.
too much stem, not enough blade, and there's no nutrition.
If you
Zero.
get it when it's like 2 feet tall,
Early, yeah.
it's actually decent.
It's
but
good feed if it's early.
Usually, by the time you can, because usually canary grows in swamps, so everything's wet
Fast, too.
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time you can get into it, by the time the ground dries enough to where you can actually get a tractor on it, it's 10 feet tall.
Yeah, and it's useless at that point. It literally, canary grass, once it reaches that height, zero nutritional value.
Because it's all stem.
Yeah, it's literally, canary grass is that stuff you see growing on the side of the road or growing in ponds that's as tall, if not taller than you are. It's ridiculous.
Last year, when I was mowing those fields on Case Road,
Yeah.
it was as tall as the cab on the tractor. I was sitting in the seat. I was at eye level with the top of it in some spots.
Yeah. That stuff, canary grass is gnarly because
I felt bad for that mower. I felt so bad for it.
I ran, oh man.
that was horrible.
Maytown Ski Lake.
Oh god.
There's some canary grass out there. I took my mower.
I remember that
and
field.
my old. Oh, that field is horrible. I took my.
Not going to
dad's-
do that one again, are you?
Oh god! I took my dad's one of those, his 1066, hooked it up to my mower. I got into a big wad of canary.
You told me that. You
My mower
smoked the clutch.
stalled out and it smoked the clutch right there. I had to
Oops.
run back. We had to put clutch packs in it, pad things. There's just little friction discs in there that
Yep.
burn up. Oh, it was so bad. That field gummed up that thing so bad sometimes. I had to it'd go in, and then start just slipping. I'd back up and it would just like spit canary everywhere. There's a big clump. Every time it would happen, there'd be this huge mound of canary,
Yep.
like this tall.
Yep.
in
That's
mower.
the way
It's
that
like,
one was.
oh, it's so bad.
Yeah. That mower eats a lot.
They
It's got a flail, too, so
the
that
flail
makes it
mowers
nice.
do really good with Canary, which
The-
whether or not that's a good thing, you judge, but it's nice. Sure is nice.
It's grass. You can make money off of
Yeah,
it.
you can sell it. Goat people buy it.
I'm going to raise both of them $1 this year,
Oh yeah,
I think.
you can try it. I'll be willing to see.
Well, I was going to do... What did I sell it for last year? I was going to sell it off the field, the decent stuff, for $5.
That's pretty
But if
good.
I can fertilize it,
$6 for sure.
I'll sell it for
six
six
or
or
seven.
or 8 delivered.
Yeah, there you go.
And then the other stuff, I'll probably just keep it 4.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I made a decent chunk off of that, too.
yeah.
It's not as much, obviously, but
Right,
it's
but
money.
money on the table.
And then I spent all of it on a tractor.
That's right.
But I'm trying to buy something every year. That's my goal.
So we did. Keep ourselves going.
Except I'm not going to start with a 120 horse tractor that's
Don't do that.
busted to
Don't.
pieces inside.
If there's one thing that I think can be learned from what we did, although it was the most fun thing I think I've ever done, don't start with a 120 horse. We didn't start with it, and that's a good thing.
Well, you can start with it. Just make sure it's a better one than that one was.
Oh
when you
yeah,
started.
and usually if it's better than that, it's going to be more expensive than that one. That's for sure.
I think I got a killer deal on my tractor.
Oh yeah, for sure. 'Cause
If
it
that
was-
guy had known what he had, they probably would have asked for 8.
oh yeah,
or more.
Because around here, that size, those that are confused
100
as to
horse
why we talk
tractor
about
and a 60 horse tractor are worth about the same over here.
yeah, they literally a tractor like this one behind me, 130 horse PTO from the factory, is worth nothing here. And the reason they're worth nothing here, we don't need power.
Yeah.
We just don't. Because we don't.
We don't pull plows or
No,
big
the-
stuff like
the
that.
size of the tractor doesn't matter here because the biggest things we pull is like mowers and stuff like that. It's 90%.
It's hay country, not
yeah, it's hay
grain.
country, not grain. So we
At
don't
least on the west side.
we don't turn the dirt on this side of the state hardly ever. It's pretty rare.
When we do, we use the rototiller.
Yeah, and because it's cheap and effective, it burns a lot of fuel, but it's cheap and effective, and it just kind of works. And
We
you
only do it like once every 10 years.
dude, that field up there in the north was like once every 20 years.
Yeah.
We haven't touched that thing.
You just got to
For a
keep
while.
feeding it nutrients. That's
Yep.
the only important part.
Yep, 1616. or-
Lime, phosphorus,
put lime on
potash,
it.
nitrogen.
Yep. Depending on what the soil sample comes back at, sometimes we have it sampled, tested, and
Yeah, we did that.
always depends, and then you can pretty much figure out what it needs from there. Some of our grass literally just needed. We've put 40 and 46 00, which is nothing but nitrogen.
Yeah, I know.
On some of our fields,
Mm-hmm.
that works like that. Lights a fire on that
Yeah.
grass.
Yeah.
This stuff is powerful. Powerful.
I think we're going to do. I can't remember what he said. It's all 3. I can't remember what the mixture is, but
Some
we're
of
gonna-
it's like 20 double 10, 20 something something. Some of them are the one that's pretty generic, works for everything, is 1616, where it's just nothing but 16 on each. We were gonna put 1616 on our test plot, but ended up going with 40 double aught, just because we wanted a bunch of nitrogen for some reason. We didn't do soil sample. We were just like nitrogen here.
Yeah, that's usually what we do. We put lime on ours last year, and it
Yeah.
worked.
We
really
limed.
well. He was like, "Oh, I thought I was going to get 200 bales out of this," and then 500 bales later, he's like, "Oh, I don't have anybody to come get this."
Uh-oh. Yeah,
So we had to
sometimes
put some in the barn at the end of the year last
yield.
year.
Oh yeah, yield improvers. Sometimes they'll surprise you. They'll come up on you just like
It
that.
was surprising for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes they need it. Sometimes.
Yeah,
they
I
need it.
hope I can get that field again.
be
Because
kinda
that
nice.
thing is perfect because it's not very far away.
Yeah, you just drive straight to it with the tractor if you need be. You don't have to borrow. Really have to borrow a tractor this year. If you can't help it.
Well,
You might have to borrow.
although if I can get the Ford mower, if I can get him to let me use that,
Yeah.
because it's in the shop right now. He's putting brand new blades on it and belts and stuff.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
if If I get to run
That'd
that,
be perfect for that little tractor.
oh yeah, it'd be perfect. And then I could get, yeah. Although I don't know how well they do in molehills. The front field's not bad. The back one is a different story.
They're pretty much the same as like a. They're just a discipline without the discipline part.
No way.
That's what they are.
The sickle bar mower is completely different.
Yeah, they get rid of the modular rotary cutter bar in place of a sickle bar that's really wide. And goes back.
Plugs
and
up a lot easier.
They do. You have to be really careful with those.
Maybe I'll just borrow the same one I did last year.
They work though. I see people hate with them everywhere. Oh man, we are getting tired.
It's late.
It is.
It's past my bedtime.
Oh jeez, I didn't even look. Nice.
What time is it?
10:20. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I keep forgetting to call him. I need to call him.
Yeah. Probably talk to him.
Because you need to drag it and spread the cow turds out.
That'd be nice. That works. That's what we do around here. Puts the potash and stuff in the ground or whatever. Or
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen too. A little bit of everything.
Cow poo has nitrogen mainly.
That's good because that's why we.
Chicken manure is the best because it has all three.
Yes. It smells horrible, but it works really good.
You can't get it here anymore
Nope.
because Briarwood's gone.
Yeah, we talked. I think that was the first podcast we talked about Briarwood's going under,
Well, they weren't going under. They were just leaving because of our stupid laws.
which
Because they have farms in
again, props to them.
Idaho,
That's
I
totally
think.
fine. I totally understand that. Yeah,
almost
no,
like when you make it impossible to do business,
they're just
they're
gonna
not going to leave or they're not going to stay.
Yeah, they're just gonna leave. Jeez, Governor, again. Yeah.
The one we have now is not any better.
Nope. If anything, it's probably worse.
Probably.
Some say. So I've heard. I don't know how much this is true, but some say he was behind a lot of what our last one was doing.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Well, he was the attorney general.
Yeah.
He approved everything, so he's just as complacent as...
He was just buddy with the last one.
You got a lot of steel down there.
There's just a lot of stuff down there.
Where's
Random
the
stuff.
PTO shaft.
That is a great question. It's been there for...
That looks like a Ford PTO shaft.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's a Ford 1000 PTO shaft. I'm pretty sure it's to swap out a 1000 PTO for something.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know what it's for. There's a bunch of random PTO shaft chunks and things down there too. Springs, brake shoes.
How come those aren't on the mower tractor?
I don't know. Is there room to hang those on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to hang them up. I think those were the ones that were in the cab. Because I put 2 fresh ones on there the other day.
The yellow one, I think, had
The other one,
a spot to hang those.
yeah, the other one's the one that has a hanger on the back.
Those are heavy looking.
They are heavy. They're extremely heavy. I put those on the yellow mower. I was like, oh, these are a lot heavier than I thought. It's a big, giant flywheel that spins around, which is pretty terrifying. 'Cause it uses a hydraulic motor that just goes...
Is that how it goes?
Yes, it goes... It spins really, really fast, terrifyingly fast, and then you turn it off, and it's just like freewheeling. It's terrifying. But it works really good. That was a good find there versus the old blue one. The blue one was kind of rough. Is rough. That's now... I drove that sucker all the way up to my uncle's place the other day.
For what?
He's going to have it now. It's going to be his drag tractor for dragging the field.
Just forever or for
Yeah,
a while?
for a while at least. I don't want it back. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
I don't really want to see it again. Just because that tractor was supposed to pan out really good for us and it was going to be perfect. And we started using it and realized that
It's a pile.
It's a pile. PTO doesn't shut off. It's always on. As soon
You
as
can
turn
fix
the key on.
that.
Which a guy could fix if I wanted to pull that thing all the way apart.
But you don't.
pull
So
that thing all the way apart. It's an integral cab. Those things would suck. So
I don't know how much you'd have to pull apart on that. You probably just take the rear.
There's probably a plug for the harness for the cab that you can just...
Well, I don't know if you'd have to take the cab off.
Probably not.
Because the clutch is probably at the back.
That would be the correct. Yeah, that'd be normal. That if they did it the normal way, because the IH way was always put everything at the back, including its own pickup and everything. For the
Although, I don't know.
because that's
I've never. That's a power shift, so that's
yeah, and that's post feet. That's newer. Ish.
like on the TW10. It's sort of in the middle, like in the front of the transmission, or no, the front of the rear end.
Yeah, okay.
So that one wouldn't be fun to get out
No.
because you'd have to probably
You'd split it, and then you have to pull
pull the cab
transmission.
off,
Cab would have to come off.
or at least up.
Yeah.
Split it at the back of the transmission
Yeah.
and roll the rear end away.
Yeah.
That would not be fun.
No.
Oh well.
No, International had a pretty good idea, but just make it an independent PTO. Give it all that it needs.
Is mine like that?
Probably. International did that forever. Because they were like, put everything the PTO needs and needs to function in the PTO section at the back. Just so you can...
Smart.
Literally, it's like 8 to 10 bolts on that PTO.
And it comes off.
Boom! Comes out, and then you can replace clutch packs, check the pickup for slush, garbage. Yeah, I know. You need to add a pillow to it or something, but... Yeah.
The stool I was sitting on is very hard.
Yeah.
It's like sitting on a piece of
It's very
plywood.
stiff. It wasn't built to be sat on for a while, I can tell you that much. But
I still say we should raid the surplus store and get a couple office chairs for in here for doing podcasts.
office chairs in here would be nice. Some reclining office
Maybe
chairs.
one day we'll have, some followers and
A studio.
maybe some money
Yeah, it would be nice.
and a studio.
Subscribe, please.
Please share it with your friends.
Please.
We need followers. Please. What are we at now?
Hour and 30, I think it's a good time.
Yeah, I'm tired.
I'm tired too. I
Go
want
to
to go
bed.
home. I was going to put my truck away and get my car out. Because
I can help you with that.
Yes, you
I'm
can.
capable
You are.
to get this thing out of here and put
Oh, yeah, I got to put that.
non-Relson's truck back
We got
in
to
here.
put Non's truck in here. Yeah.
Anybody with
Yeah.
half a brain cell could figure out that
Anybody
what we're
with-
saying by that. So
Anybody.
it's like the really lazy version of Pig Latin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just take the first letter and go.
But it doesn't matter because
He probably wouldn't care either.
he's 81 and he'll never see this.
Yeah, unless somebody tells him,
Won't be me.
he won't care.
He won't care either. He does not care. Yeah, I think we'll round this one out
Yeah,
for the
we
day.
talked about some stuff and some things.
We did. We got into some topics that...
I did actually think about something the other day. Like I should talk about this on the podcast, and then I got distracted and forgot to write it down.
That's how my brain works too. So that's what happens on this podcast, by the way.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. This whole
We're like
podcast.
scatterbrained.
We started with I don't even know what,
I don't even remember.
and we went off on politics and everything
Started
else.
with
and-
talking about what we were doing at school. I think.
Yeah, we started with talking about excavators, and then we went from excavators to politics to
I don't know.
moral complications. Yeah, it's
We've covered a wide variety. Wow. What's a
wide
range?
I know what you meant to say.
Wow. Wide variety / range of topics.
Yes, we do that every time, and this isn't the only place we do this. We do this in the real world. This is just what we do.
Yeah. It's just kind of. We were like, hey, this would be a good podcast, maybe.
Yeah,
And
Diesel
we were
Tech
like, let's
building.
just stick microphones in the front of our
The
faces.
Diesel Tech building upper loft section is where ideas are born.
Yeah,
Whether
let's
they
not
are,
get into that. That'll take an hour and a half.
yeah, that's what happens up there. Let's not get into that. That'll take an hour and a half. That's the phrase that happens up there.
And then we do.
And then we do.
And we're like, well, there's an hour and a
And
half
then
of
it's
our
5
lives we'll never get back.
Yeah, then it's 5:00, and you're like,
It's getting dark outside.
How did
We're
I
like,
get
why did we
here?
stay here this long?
but some of the instructors stay there for that, and that's like, why would you do that to yourself? But okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
Oh, well. Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Now I hit something. It's my
Yes, you
turn.
did. It's your turn. All right, we're gonna round this one
Well,
off for the night. Thank you for
Thanks for listening
listening.
to us ramble again.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been wonderful.
I think we were good this time. I don't
think
think,
so.
we.
I think I can literally just probably post this thing tomorrow. So
I'm
we'll
still
see you
gonna
then.
listen to it.
I would. We'll see you guys.
Yeah, we're trying to make it so that it's actually more
More relevant, more recent.
recent. Because before it was like we'd record it and then I'd forget to listen to it
Yeah.
for like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And then I'd listen to it and he'd edit it and
Yeah.
add like a week later. And be
Yeah.
3 weeks late. So
Yeah.
that's why there was one in the middle of the week this week.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So I hope to see you guys soon.
We're gonna try and get to a 2-week schedule to
Yeah.
where
We're on a
record
2
it on
right
a
now.
Saturday night, and
we're-
then I listen to it, and
Yeah.
he edits it, and then we post it on Sunday.
Right
We're
now
gonna
we're
try
on a
and do that.
2-week listening schedule. Or not listening.
Recording.
We're on a 2-week recording schedule. We're gonna try to get to a 2-week editing schedule as well. So hope you guys enjoyed. We're gonna sign
Thanks
off
for
the night.
listening.
Thanks for listening. This was the Old Souls Podcast. I missed the